What if I told you the richest man in the room was also the loneliest? Every morning, before the city awakened, Daniel Harper stood alone in the silence of his penthouse, watching the sunrise paint the skyline gold. Below him stretched the empire he had spent 25 years building, a towering headquarters, thousands of employees, millions of dollars flowing through his companies. To the world, Daniel Harper was success itself. Business magazines called him the man who built an empire. Young entrepreneurs quoted his speeches. Investors admired his vision. People dreamed of living his life. Yet every morning, before answering a single email, before attending a meeting, Daniel sat quietly on the edge of his bed, staring at the floor. Not because he was tired, because he felt nothing. No excitement, no ambition, no happiness. Only one question greeted him every sunrise. Why am I still doing this? He possessed everything most people spent their lives chasing: luxury, power, respect, freedom. Yet somehow, he woke feeling poorer than the day before. Not in money, in meaning. Ironically, the person who would eventually change Daniel's life owned almost nothing. He didn't wear an expensive suit. He didn't drive a luxury car. He didn't have a university degree. Every morning, he quietly pushed an old cleaning cart through Daniel's office building. Most people never noticed him. Daniel had passed him for nearly 10 years without learning his name. But before that ordinary man could change Daniel's life, you need to understand how Daniel became the man everyone admired, and the man no one truly knew. Daniel wasn't born rich. His father delivered packages across the city. His mother cleaned hotel rooms during the day and worked nights at a diner. Money was never enough. Some evenings, dinner was whatever remained in the cupboard. Some winters, the electricity disappeared before the month ended. As a child, Daniel watched his parents worry about money. And one night, he made himself a promise. One day, money will never control my life again. At first, it sounded like determination, but slowly, it became an obsession. While his classmates played football after school, Daniel studied business. While others spent weekends with friends, he worked. While everyone else dreamed, he planned. He believed sacrifice was temporary. Success was forever. Years later, armed with little more than determination and an aging laptop, Daniel founded a tiny software company inside a cramped rented office. The first year was brutal. Clients said no. Investors laughed. Banks rejected him. Twice, Daniel packed his belongings, convinced the dream was over. Twice, he unpacked them. He refused to quit. One customer became 5. 5 became 20. 20 became hundreds. Hundreds became thousands. Within 15 years, his company became one of the fastest-growing technology firms in the country. The impossible had become reality. Everything Daniel had once dreamed about finally belonged to him, or so he thought, because success always sends a bill, and Daniel had been paying it without realizing the cost. Late nights became normal. Weekends disappeared. Birthdays became conference calls. Vacations became business trips. Daniel missed anniversaries. He missed school performances. He missed ordinary conversations that would never return. His wife stopped asking him to come home early. Eventually, she stopped asking altogether. His son grew into a man, mostly through photographs. His closest friend eventually left the company after years of feeling invisible. Every time someone walked away, Daniel gave the same answer. "I'm doing this for us." Until one day, there was no us anymore. Only Daniel, his empire, and a silence so loud, it echoed through every room of his beautiful home. Still, he kept working, because work had become more than his career. It had become his identity. Without it, he no longer knew who he was. Then came one ordinary Monday. 12 executives gathered inside the boardroom. The presentation was ready. Investors waited online. Daniel walked confidently to the front of the room. He opened his laptop, looked around the table, took one breath, then another. The words on the screen blurred. His heartbeat thundered. His hands began trembling. The room tilted. Voices faded, and darkness swallowed everything. When Daniel opened his eyes, the ceiling above him was white. A slow heartbeat echoed through hospital monitors. A doctor offered a reassuring smile. It wasn't a heart attack. Relief flooded Daniel's face. Then the doctor's expression became serious. "But your body is warning you. If nothing changes, the next time, it may not ask politely." For the first time in decades, Daniel stepped away from work. Not because he wanted to, because he had no choice. He returned home and discovered something terrifying. Without meetings, without deadlines, without emails, he didn't know what to do with himself. His mansion felt unfamiliar. His trophies felt meaningless. His expansive furniture felt cold. One afternoon, unable to sit inside another empty room, Daniel returned to the office. Not to work, simply to think. That's when he finally noticed someone he had walked past for almost 10 years. An elderly maintenance worker quietly polished the marble floor near the lobby. His uniform was faded. His shoes had been repaired more than once. His cleaning cart was old. Daniel hesitated, then answered, "Good morning." The man introduced himself. "Samuel." Daniel shook his hand. "I'm Daniel." Samuel smiled. "I know." Daniel laughed quietly. "I suppose everyone does." Samuel looked at him. "They know your name." A pause. "But how many know you?" The question stayed with Daniel. The next morning, Daniel returned to the lobby. Not for a meeting. He wanted to talk to Samuel. The two men shared a simple cup of tea. Daniel finally admitted what he had never told anyone. "I have everything, but I don't feel happy." Samuel listened. He didn't lecture. He simply asked questions. "When was the last time you watched a sunrise without thinking about work?" Daniel couldn't remember. "When was the last time you had dinner with your family without checking your phone?" Again, nothing. Samuel smiled sadly. "Sometimes, Daniel, we become so busy building a life that we forget to live it." The following morning, Samuel took Daniel to a beautiful tree growing inside the lobby. He placed his hand on its trunk. Everyone notices the branches, the leaves, the flowers, but nobody sees the roots. Daniel looked at him. Samuel continued, "Your company is your branches. Your money is your leaves. Your reputation is your flowers. But your family, your health, your friendships, your peace, those are your roots." Daniel stared at the tree. He suddenly understood. He had spent 25 years making his branches stronger, while allowing his roots to dry out. That afternoon, Daniel picked up his phone. He stared at one name for several minutes. His son. Then he pressed call. 1 ring, 2, 3. Finally, a voice answered. "Dad?" Daniel closed his eyes. "Hi, Ethan." Silence. Not anger, just distance. Daniel almost said the words he'd always said. "I'm fine." Instead, he told the truth. "I don't think I am." Ethan didn't know what to say. Neither did Daniel. Finally, Daniel asked, "Would you have dinner with me?" A long pause. Then, "I'd like that." It wasn't a dramatic reunion. Nothing was magically fixed. But it was a beginning. Samuel was right. Trust was like a plant. You couldn't pour a lifetime of water onto it in one day. You had to keep coming back. Weeks passed. Daniel began changing. He learned employees' names. He thanked the cleaning staff. He ate lunch with his team. He stopped checking his phone during conversations. He called his son regularly. He began noticing things he had ignored for decades. Children laughing, people sharing coffee, sunsets, music, small acts of kindness. One evening, Daniel sat beside Samuel as the sun disappeared behind the skyline. Then he finally asked, "Samuel, how did you become like this?" Samuel looked toward the city. His smile slowly faded. "I wasn't always a janitor." Daniel looked at him. "I owned a construction company. I had employees, meetings, money. I chased success just like you. I told myself I was doing it for my family." Daniel's expression changed. Samuel continued, "One day, my daughter asked me to look at a drawing she made at school. I was busy. I told her. Later." Samuel looked down. There wasn't a later. Daniel remained silent. "A car accident took my wife and daughter the next morning. The city seemed to disappear around them. I would have traded every dollar I owned for one more ordinary day with them." Samuel looked directly at Daniel. "I see the man I used to be, and I don't want you to lose what I lost." Daniel couldn't speak. Now he understood. Samuel wasn't wise because he had read hundreds of books. He was wise because he had lived the lesson Daniel was only beginning to understand. The next morning, Daniel stood outside his son's home. His hand hovered over the doorbell. He had negotiated billion-dollar deals without fear. Yet pressing this button terrified him. Finally, he pressed it. Ethan opened the door. "Dad?" Daniel smiled. "I was wondering if you'd have breakfast with me." Ethan looked at him, then smiled. "Sure." They went to a small neighborhood cafe. No luxury, no private room, no business meetings. Just two people sitting across from each other. For a while, They talked about ordinary things. Then Daniel finally said, "I spent my whole life trying to give you everything." Ethan looked at him. "You gave me a lot, Dad, but I didn't need a richer father. I needed more time with my father." Daniel lowered his eyes. The words hurt, but they also gave him something he thought he had lost forever. A chance. Ethan reached across the table. "We still have today." Daniel looked at his son and smiled. From that day forward, Daniel didn't stop being successful. He simply stopped, allowing success to own him. He still ran his company, but he no longer lived inside it. He left the office on time. He had dinner with his family. He took walks. He called old friends. He listened. He laughed. He learned to say no. He learned to say thank you. And something unexpected happened. The company became stronger. Employees trusted him more. People stayed longer. The culture changed. Daniel finally understood. A company isn't built only with strategies. It's built with people, and people give their best when they know they matter. One afternoon, Daniel returned to the lobby. Samuel wasn't there. His cleaning cart was gone. Daniel asked the receptionist, "Where's Samuel?" She smiled. "He retired yesterday." Then she handed Daniel a small envelope. For Daniel. Daniel sat on their old bench and opened it. Inside was a handwritten note. "Dear Daniel, success is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. Never become so busy making a living that you forget to live. Love your family while they can still hear you say it. Protect your peace and never forget to water your roots. Your friend, Samuel." Daniel folded the letter carefully. He placed it inside his jacket, over his heart. Years later, visitors entering Daniel's company noticed something unusual. Near the lobby stood a beautiful indoor garden. A small bronze plaque sat among the flowers. It read, "The Samuel Garden. Kindness grows here." Every morning. Before his first meeting, Daniel watered the plants himself, just as Samuel once had. One spring morning, Daniel stood beside the giant window of his penthouse with his young grandson. The boy looked across the city. "Grandpa, is all of this yours?" Daniel looked at the skyscrapers, the company, the empire. Then he looked at the photograph of his family on the table. He smiled. "No, it was only my turn to take care of a small part of it." The boy thought for a moment, then asked, "What was the greatest thing you ever built?" Daniel didn't look toward the skyscrapers. He looked toward his family and quietly answered, "A life I almost missed." The sun rose over the city. Golden light filled the room. Daniel smiled, not because he had become richer, but because, at last, he had remembered how to live. Success can build an empire, but only love can build a life.